Congresswoman Axne.
All right, how's everybody doing today? It's so great to be back at the Iowa State Fair, and I'm so happy that we made sure that we got the funds for the State Fair during COVID so that they could open up again this year and provide a fair that everybody is happy to attend. So I'm so glad to be out here on this wonderful day. Thanks for spending your time with me this morning. For those of you who don't know me very well, I'm Cindy Axne. I'm your representative for Iowa's 3rd Congressional District, the great Polk County, and all the way down to the Missouri border, over to Wapello County, up to Greene County in this new district. But I'll tell you what, I've been serving folks all the way over to Council Bluffs for the last 4 years, and I'm so proud of the work that I've been able to get done for this great state. I'm a mom of 2. Well, thank you. I'm a mom of 2 boys. I'm a small business owner along with my husband. We own a small digital design firm, and I'm a 5th-generation Iowan. I grew up pretty much the classic tale like so many Iowans. My parents met at a church picnic. And my mom's from a farm down in Milo, which is just south of Indianola. I spent summers there, and it's really rare I honed my skills on 6-on-6 girls basketball because my mom played, my aunt played, my grandma played, and at least I didn't have to play wearing a little skirt that they had. I got to actually wear some shorts. But I have been actively working for this state since even before I got into this job. When I moved back here with my family, because I wanted my kids to grow up in Iowa, I took a job at the state of Iowa, and I had the chance to serve for Democrats and Republican administrations. I started under Governor Vilsack and ended up under Governor Branstad's administration. I ran strategy for the state. My job was to make sure that government performed for the people that it serves, and I took great pride in that job because I know that when government works for the people, it can provide so much opportunity. And I did this job because my parents taught me one thing. They taught me and my sisters that we help our friends and family, but we help strangers alike, because when everybody does well, everybody does well. And so I've taken those 5 generations of Iowa values and spending summers on my mom's farm down outside of Milo and taken that time at the state of Iowa to make sure that I formed solutions that benefited the people in the state. And it's from that state work that I learned so well how important it is to work across the aisle to get things done. And I'll tell you what, folks, I don't care what letter's behind your name. Folks hear me say this all the time. I don't care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent. We are all in this together. I'm in the fight for Iowa, and I will always take your voices with me to Washington, no matter what zip code you come from, no matter if you're urban, no matter if you're rural. Because we are a family and we are a community, and we deserve to have a good voice in Washington that's going to stand up for all of us. So that's right. So as I mentioned, I come from small town Iowa, but I grew up on the south side of Des Moines, and then I live over in West Des Moines, where I fought for all-day kindergarten when I found out that half the kids in the district got an inferior education. And that was about the first time I decided it was time to step up for our community and fight back to make sure that our kids had opportunity. And I'm taking those values with me out to Washington every single day. It's why I decided to serve on the House Agriculture Committee and on the House Financial Services Committee. Because if you don't know, outside of London and New York, we have the most insurance companies in the world. We have a lot of small businesses. Small manufacturing is one of the most important industries here in Iowa. And I wanted to serve on committees that actually helped our state. I'm not talking about serving on some committee where I can say, oh, I doled out this money or that money. I want to make sure that you guys get the policies that you need to put money right back in your pocket. So I've been working hard on that every step of the way. And from the beginning, I've had 3 things in mind, folks. Number 1, put more money back in your pockets. Number 2, give your families more opportunity. And number 3, level the playing field so that Iowans can get ahead. Because when I walked out and took my first vote on that floor out in Congress, I saw Oh, a vote from California, another one, 30, 40 votes from California, 30, 40 votes from Florida, from New York. And I said, well, my gosh, I'm going to have to be the voice of 10 representatives to get what we need for Iowa. And every step of the way, I've done that. Just last week, I voted to sign into law, and the president did, the Inflation Reduction Act. One of the most monumental pieces of policy this country has seen in decades. First and foremost, for all of you on Medicare, for our seniors who deserve a retirement filled with dignity, we're going to cap the costs of your prescription drugs to no more than $2,000 a year. That bill has been signed into law. We have made it such that insulin will be no more than $35 a month, because I'm tired of seeing hardworking Iowans who are trying to live a retirement of dignity struggle to keep their lights on and pay for their diabetes insulin. And it's time we change that. So we've done that, folks. And lastly, we are going to make sure that we address the impact of climate. It is ravaging not just the coasts on this country, but absolutely right here in Iowa. I started out this job with a 100-year flood on the Missouri River that's supposed to happen every 100 years. Well, folks, that's happening far too often. We've seen 3 derechos now come through Iowa, storms that many of us had never seen in our lives. Our farmers know that we've got to address the issues of climate so that they can have better yields, so that they can put in less input and their profitability can be greater. And so I'm working hard to make sure that that opportunity is there for our farmers. And my bill, the one that allows $500 million of infrastructure expansion for ethanol across this country, is going to put money in the pockets of our farmers and address the climate issues that we're facing, while reducing the cost of gas at the pump. And I hope that you're all seeing that, because for about 60 straight weeks in a row, we're seeing the cost of gas go down. But let me explain a little bit about this, folks. This is how we're going to pay for this. Not on the backs of Iowans. Well, if you're making over $400,000 a year, or your company grosses $1 billion, you're going to feel a little bit of input. But I guess what? I think most of you are like me. You don't even remotely fall into those categories. So it's time those folks start paying their fair share, because everybody on Main Street, Iowa is doing that. That's right. And we're investing in the IRS, because right now, $160 billion in taxes goes unearned into our country's coffers that would help all of you with our schools and with our roads and with our health care and with all of the important things that this country needs, because we don't have enough IRS auditors to actually address the issues that we're facing. So what happens is folks like Gary's going to stand a better chance of getting audited, than Elon Musk. And so we've got to make sure that we're addressing this across this country. So I voted for that bill. You put that on top of the infrastructure bill that just passed. Yours truly, the only Iowan that voted for that in the House, that's going to repair our roads, bring broadband back to every single person in this state, and ensure that our families have opportunity for growth no matter what zip code you come from. Because this isn't just about urban America, folks. This is about all of America. And it starts right here in Iowa's 3rd District. So I will always be a voice for you out in Washington. I will always be the person who tries to find a solution and doesn't put political ideology over the people in my district, because it will always be people over politics when it comes to the work that I do. So I'm so proud to be able to represent this great state. My mom died in my first run for office, and as I mentioned, she's a farm girl from Milo, Iowa. She always taught me that we stand up even against the toughest of odds, even in situations that we didn't want to address, because if it's the right thing to do, you got to do that. So I've been standing up since the 4th grade bus stop when the bully tried to bug a girl there. And I've been doing it ever since then, because that's not going to go down on my watch. The people of Iowa deserve to have somebody who will stand up for them every step of the way, ensure that our opportunities are seen just as greatly as any other state in this great country of ours. And so I'm so grateful to be here with all of you, because we've got a lot more work to do. We may have done so much already, and boy, have we. From that infrastructure bill that I just mentioned that's going to connect everybody, provide affordable housing for folks, make sure that we get those bridges fixed so those buses can go over them with our kids, taking them to school and not have to take the long route around. This is about our families living better lives, folks. And let me tell you, between the infrastructure bill and this new Inflation Reduction Act, we are creating millions of good-paying jobs across this country, and they're starting right here in Iowa with wind production, solar production, ethanol production, and we are investing in our future so that we can pass our farms to our kids, so that we can grow every part of this district, no matter where you live. For those of you who don't know, we've got places like Corning, Iowa, that has a James Beard awarded restaurant, something that's an internationally acclaimed. We got folks who want to move here from all over this country. We've got businesses in our district that support other great towns in this nation. Every ball bearing for every Ford Explorer made in Detroit is made in Iowa's great 3rd district. And that's why it's so important that I stand up for every single thing that we need in this state, because we are the backbone of America. Iowa is absolutely the backbone of America. And folks, I'm going to stand still as your backbone to make sure that you've got the right voice out in Washington to deliver the results that you need. And I've been doing that for the last 4 years. I've been named the most bipartisan member of Iowa's congressional delegation now 2 years in a row. I've had presidents sign my bills into law that directly put money in the pockets of Iowans, and I'm here to let you know I'm ready to continue this fight as we continue to lower the cost of gas, as it keeps coming down, as we continue to put more money in the pockets of all of you, as we make sure that those darn potholes that you have to go over because of winter every time get fixed so that you don't have to spend money on your car to fix those wheels. I'm going to be there every step of the day, every step of the way, because this truly comes down to your personal lives. What is it going to take to make the lives of the people who are standing right here better? I'm not the one who's going to be up on TV or in the paper nationally to talk about, some ideology. I'm the one that's going to get things done. And at the state of Iowa, after 10 decades after a decade almost of working there, as I mentioned, from running strategy to being a division administrator at the Department of Natural Resources, I understand what Iowa needs, and I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that we get this done. Folks, this job is not an easy one out in Washington if you do it right. There are too many people who want to go out there, have the title, but not get anything done. I hope you've all seen in the last 4 years that I've done nothing but bring goods home for Iowa and reinforce what those folks at the state said about me when the running joke was her tombstone should read, "She gets shit done." And so that's all I like doing, is getting stuff done. So thank you so much for your support. I ask for your vote this time around. We still have a lot more to get done for this great state of Iowa. I appreciate all of you. I'm working for every single one of you. If there's ever anything you need, please don't hesitate to call my offices here in Des Moines or in Creston or out in Council Bluffs. But I ask for your vote, folks, because Iowa is the greatest state in the nation. It is not a flyover state. It is a powerful state that deserves representation that will give you and everybody as much opportunity as possible to keep those young kids here, to pass on our family farms, to bring business and opportunity, and to improve the lives of every single person in our great state. I ask for your vote. I humbly request that you hit those polls and get everybody out there to vote for me, because, folks, this is a really important important election. So thank you so much for having me here, for our great state, and for this great country. God bless America, everybody. Thank you so much.